Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer.
Okay.
Hello, GCU students and alumni. Welcome to episode 4 of the Designing with Love podcast. Today, I have the honor of interviewing a recent graduate of the Instructional Design program in the College of Education. Hello, Jessie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Jackie. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking some time today to join me so that I can interview you and ask some questions. So, you ready to dive in?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Okay. So, when did you earn your master's degree in instructional design at GCU?
Well, I just finished on about late April. It was on a Wednesday, so I count that as my last official day, but graduation is May 5th.
Awesome. So, it's coming up in a couple days. That's great.
Yes.
Yes, that's wonderful. What aspects of the program did you enjoy the most at GCU?
Some of the stuff that I really enjoyed the most was being able to see the curriculum in full scope for each class. I was able to see how much was, I could see what the assessments were. I could see that they were building and leading on top of one another. I could see all of that. And I definitely was really thrilled that I was able to kind of take ownership of my own learning as well. So being able to see everything in long term was really nice.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So, Jessie, what kind of work do you currently do right now?
I'm currently a high school English teacher. So I teach, currently right now, I teach English 2 and English 4. So I teach sophomores and seniors.
Wow. So you get a wide range of different ages and different levels of students. So the seniors, do they get senioritis quite often?
Yes, right now they're annoying the beans out of me.
Well, I'm sure, 'cause it's the end of the school year. And the sophomores, they've kind of gotten comfortable, right? They're not the freshmen, so they're not freaking out. They're a little more comfortable.
But they're easy to kind of still manage. You can kind of really use that stern voice and they're like, oh shoot, and they'll stop. And most of them just finished testing. So for and I live in Texas. So the state of Texas, we just finished our standardized testing. Tomorrow is actually the last day of testing. And so those kids who have been testing, they're now like, I'm done testing. So now it's like a light of a burden has been released. However, the end of the school year still isn't complete yet.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of time. And then your work is probably going to continue through the summer and things like that, professional development and things like that. All the things that you have to do to maintain your certification too. So it's always it never ends, right? As being a teacher. Yep.
Right.
So, yeah. So are you currently looking for work as an instructional designer or maybe like a similar role, like e-learning developer, things like that? What are you looking for right now that you have your degree? Or are you looking to stay in the classroom and just enhance that?
I'm currently looking. I have completed my LinkedIn profile. I just got my professional headshots done yesterday. So I'm being
awesome.
I'm being very proactive. I'm extremely excited. I feel like, this past year has been 14 years of teaching. And so I feel like I love education. I love my students. I just feel like I haven't had this sort of excitement in my life professionally and career-wise since before I became a mom 8 years ago. And so it's like this new burning desire and this new level of excitement. Like when I started school, I was super excited. And so now having this accomplishment, this accolade, and being able to prepare myself as best as I can. So I'm doing the LinkedIn profile. I'm getting readjusting my my portfolio to being better. I know it's good. I've got compliments on it, but I know how much more I want to do with it. And then also inserting my professional pictures once I get them back. So I'm excited.
That's great. So you're looking at really optimizing what you have and between the LinkedIn and your portfolio. That's great because there's a video by that's on Delvin Peck's YouTube page, and it's from an instructional designer that went through the boot camp that I shared in one of the classes you took with me. And that was really neat because it's something that brought to mind with me too. I was like, oh, optimizing your portfolio, that's really good. And so, yeah, I'm great to hear that's going well for you. So, have you had a chance to kind of look at the landscape and see what's out there yet, or are you just trying to get things in order, get your headshots and things like that? Have you had a chance to kind of look out there and see
I've been
what's
looking. I've been looking since I started my master's degree. To be
have
honest,
you? Good.
I didn't officially like create my LinkedIn profile, but I'd say within the last month or two, I think if I'm being honest, I think it was this last course. I was like, oh my gosh, like it is getting real. This is actually happening. Like I'm actually going to finish. Like one, I had to wrap my mind around that. And then secondly, I was like, okay, you can't just like sit here with your hands tied and just like wait till you like officially graduate, get your ducks in a row as fast as you can. Because as a teacher, we have to, I don't say we have to, they offer, at least here in the state of Texas, they offer you your contract within reasonable time. Ours were just released, I think on Monday, actually. So on Monday, they release our contracts. They let us all know, hey, like your contracts are up. And it's not just everyone, because some teachers, they don't invite back. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, so they sent that out and it's like, okay. And this is where my faith comes in. I have not signed my contract yet. I'm very much like, I'm going to be praying and fasting and asking God for like wisdom and direction because I feel like I can always sign it and I can retract it up until like mid-July. But I really feel like I need to just trust. I feel a tug in my heart of just trusting God in this process. I've trust him with just taking the leap of faith and actually doing my master's degree. And which I've been wanting to do for well over 9 years. And I just finally decided to do it last year. And so for me, it's just this big jump of faith and being able to just trust in God and know that I know that he's going to give me the desires of my heart and I have to trust him through this process because that's one of the most, but I know as most of us as believers, it's believing without seeing and believing without knowing what we're going to reap back in return. And so I'm just I have not signed my contract. I am just like, okay, God, I need to hear you. I need to feel you. I need you to tug at my heartstrings. I need you to talk to my husband. I need you to speak through him too. And just so that we're cohesively as a team. But I have been going back to your question, I have been looking for over a month and a half now and just seeing a lot of different options that are out there, working for a corporation, working for big businesses. I've seen stuff from like Amazon and Tesla and Apple. And I'm like, okay, those are big. I don't know if I'm ready for something like that big. And then you can see how many applicants are applying for that job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a sea of 500 people. Like there's no way, like no one's going to see me. And then I see other things like here locally, like where I live or like in surrounding cities. So I'm currently just I saved the jobs that I seem interested in. And of course, most potentially like I am qualified for. And so some of them, there's like that gray area of trying to see, okay, do I actually qualify for this? Or is it me in my head building up what I think I have, what I think I've attained, and knowing that I have the skills and the tools possible for that job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's taking that leap of faith, right? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
putting your trust in the Lord. And, like you said, he's gotten you this far and you got your master's. And yeah, yeah, that seeing without believing, right? And just, yeah, putting your faith and trust and that leap of
Exactly.
faith. Yeah, exactly. The peace beyond understanding too, having that peace and just saying, okay, whatever comes my
Mm-hmm.
way, I know it'll work out. And yeah, and I would say even if you don't have all the skills, I think as long as you have a good set of those, I think that can help you gain that confidence as you go. So that's good. Wow, that's wonderful. And
Awesome.
speaking of like skills, are there any specific areas where you're now that you're done with your master's, where you're continuing to expand your knowledge and your skills in the field? Are there some where you really want to hone in a little bit more, or maybe expand out a little bit more as you look for these jobs?
Yeah, I still am just kind of I am because now I'm like, okay, what do I do with all this free time? No, don't be stagnant. Don't just sit here and just wait for something to like fall into your lap because it's not going to always happen that way. And so I've been I still continue to watch a lot of like YouTube tutorials and becoming more understanding of storyline. I've never messed with storyline in Articulate or Rise Articulate 360, the program that I've used. I'm like, what's the proper way to piece it together? But being able to actually like look at storyline and become more aware of that one because I see it in the job descriptions quite frequently. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the job descriptions and I'm taking, okay, I know this, okay, I don't need that. And I'll jot it down on a post-it or on a journal somewhere. And then I'll do a little bit of like research or like YouTube tutorials on it. Like if I don't have the time to just sit and watch a read something, I can at least watch a video while I'm doing something at the same time, but like multitasking. So I'm not giving 100%, but trying to focus on those skills or
Yeah.
learn them if I can.
That's great. Yeah. And maybe you could even do like a free trial of Articulate and then kind of maybe watch the videos alongside it and go, oh, this is really great. So that's good
Mhm.
too. Yeah, that's wonderful. I think one thing that helped me when I first got my job in instructional design, it was actually, actually my second job because my first job, I really didn't get to dig into storyline because we used Captivate. So, but what was nice is that we got a subscription to LinkedIn Learning. At that time, it was Linda. So it goes to show how things change. But it was Linda at the time and now LinkedIn Learning. But what's nice is we got all the exercise files, got to download those. And then, so I had two screens and I had Linda and then on one side and then I had the software on the other. And I was like, okay, how do I do this? Ah, I get it. It makes sense. So that's a really great tool too. So now that it's LinkedIn Learning, it hasn't really changed much, just name change more than anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, so there's definitely a lot of great tools out there. So that's great to hear. Yeah, I love that. Wonderful. It's always good to hear when you're going beyond the degree and you're expanding that out. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, final question. This is kind of to wrap up. So, what are some tips and advice that you can share with those who are currently in the master's program in instructional design at GCU?
I think that one ask for Jackie. Ask that she teach every single class possible. No, I think that for me, I am still like, even though I'm a millennial, like I don't feel like I'm super, super old. I am still like a pen and paper kind of person. And so I would recommend a journal of some type, you know, if you want to jot down your notes, the further that you progress in this degree. But advocate for yourself. Most importantly, I had one professor, I don't even remember his name. And I remember getting back an assignment and I was just a little bit like questioning, like, wait, why did I, what? No. And just being able to advocate for yourself, being able to ask questions. Like, it is okay. Like, I, as a teacher myself, like, it is okay for a student to ask me a question if they don't understand why they got the grade that they got, or, oh, maybe I just misinterpreted what you were trying to get across, or, oh, I didn't fully read this section, or whatever it may be. But for me, I'm a very big, like, self advocacy person.
Yes. That's important. Yeah, being able to have that advocacy and being able to stand up for yourself, I think is so important as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other tips you can think of that kind of helped you to go from class to class? And because I know it's hard to keep that all in your head and go, wait, okay, now I'm doing this, but
Mhm.
it with the master's program, and it was true in mine too. We built upon things as we went, so it was a
Yeah.
culmination, and then the capstone is that culmination at the end, and you're like, all right, now I gotta gather all this that I've learned over the last year and a half, and try to
Yes.
do that.
I'd
So
say
yeah,
organization. You know, I am an organized person by nature, and that's a blessing but also a curse. I was leaving my classroom today and there was testing and the teacher was like, "Is that your room? Oh my gosh, you are so organized." I'm like, "Thank you." But organization for me, organization is key. If I didn't have all my files like per class, if I didn't write the name of each class, if I didn't say which week I did it in and all sorts of things, like It is piecing it together for me. And so being able to be like, okay, this sounds so familiar. When did I learn, print, principles of multimedia? Because I need to go back. I need to refresh myself. And so I'd go back and I'd find it, or being able to search in your Drive or Microsoft Office or wherever all your files are saved, but being able to have that organization and timers, put stuff on your phone,
Yeah.
like all the things. The way I went into it every single week was, okay, if you want to be done with da 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 da, then do your discussion questions on Thursday. And then do a post on Friday, and then a post on Saturday, and then post on Sunday. And then if you feel led to or want to, and you have time to go back and respond to others, then go for it. But for me, that's what worked for me, was being able to have like a systematic routine. We're creatures of habit. So that was my habit that I had to create for myself. Now I'm like, what do I do with myself Thursday nights when I'm supposed to be posting all my stuff, that I worked on? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yes, I'd
Yeah,
say that
that's
for
true.
sure.
That organization is so important. Yeah, being able to do that. And going back to like the journaling, that's important too. Like,
Mhm.
being able to journal and then have that organization on top of that. So that way you're not trying to remember everything and go where, like you said, where did I learn that? I know I learned it somewhere. So it's good to have that as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Because in the capstone, you got to take a previous project, and then
Mhm.
having that organization was the key to that. Because if you didn't have that, that would have been hard. You would have been like
Yes,
scrambling, probably trying to figure things out. Yeah,
exactly.
that's great. Yeah. And I've talked to other students that have that same, very methodical, but that helps. It really gets you in that mindset like, okay, I'm going to do this on this day. And then that way, everything's done and you're not second guessing yourself, right? At the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that another thing that helps is like the program in itself, like the degree that, I mean, you're going into this knowing that it's all online. So you have to already be like a well-driven, determined person who is willing and able to like take actions and steps to make those things happen. Because if they don't, then the only person you can go back, like I tell my students, I'm like, you point that finger right back at yourself, because you're only in control of yourself. So if you can't make those contributions to making sure that you are like holding yourself accountable to deadlines and due dates, and being able to have all that stuff in order, then you end up failing yourself. No one failed you; you failed yourself.
That's true. Yeah, definitely. Onus comes back on us, right? At the very end of it all. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true. Yeah, great. Anything else, Jesse, that you wanted to cover in the last few minutes here, or anything that you wanted to kind of share with the students that are coming through and right behind you, or anything like that?
I'd say, as a mom of two children, two very young children who are very active, don't, if you've got kids, don't allow that to be, hold you back. Allow them to actually be your motivation to push forward and be like, I'm doing this for their future. I'm doing this as an example for them. My daughter said to me, I came home from work today, and she says, where'd you come from? And I said, I came from work. She's like, I thought you said you finished your master's. I was like, I did. She's like, so then why are you going to work? And I said, I got to work still. Like, I got to finish the year. So, like, even though it's something super small, just miscommunicate. I mean, she's 8, barely 8. So she doesn't really fully understand all that. But, don't allow your circumstances, basically like in your life, to withhold you from your future. Because if you do, you're missing out on blessings, you're missing out on opportunities, and you're missing out on a vision that probably God has bigger and better for you. So
Oh my
don't limit
gosh,
yourself.
that's so true. Yeah. Because when the doubt creeps in, right, we know that's not of the Lord. The Lord doesn't give
Exactly.
us confusion and doubt. And that's
Hmm.
unfortunately that's not not of him. So always good to get that doubt out. And, as they say, there's some type of quote out there about, when we don't finish something, we're just leaving it there. And there was something that this one writer said on Kirk Cameron has a show on Trinity Broadcasting Network called Takeaways, and he interviews two people, and they're both related. And he interviewed this guy about kind of that subject about having things that are unfinished. And he's like, you can't put a half-finished book on a shelf. You can't have a half-finished this or that. You have to decide what's holding you back. What are the things that are holding you back? And once you answer those, then you can move forward. So that's fantastic that you took that leap and you said, okay, I'm just going to do it, get it done. Despite everything around me, I'm going to do it. And so
it's chaos, and chaos will ensue. Chaos will continue to be busy. You're going to continue to have, like I expressed to you earlier, your plate's always going to be full. So even if you take one thing off, something else is going to be replaced with that. So if you continue to allow yourself to build up in your mind, not only just doubt, but like these excuses of like, no, I'll do it later. I'll do it again later. Oh, my kids are too young, or, oh, I'm not married yet, or, oh, I'm not, I don't have enough money, or whatever the case may be. I told my husband, I was like, I don't care that we have to pay back loans. I care about my mental state of mind. I care about my success. I care about wanting to pursue a dream that like has been in my forethought for a long time. For me, it's been me. I've been like pumping the brakes. I have been my reason of why I don't pursue.
Right. Yeah. Cause you don't want to look back 10 more years or go 10 more years and then look back in the rearview mirror, right? And say, I wish I would have done that 10 years ago. Right. Cause you can't take back the time. Right.
Nope.
So so true. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jessie, for taking the time to interview with me. And I think this will help a lot of students. I'm hoping to have more interviews as I grow this podcast, and I'll definitely send you the link to my page and everything. I'll have more up there. So very exciting. So if you ever want to come back, and I would love to interview you again, maybe once you get your first job and I can say, hey, let's do another interview and find out what you love about it and everything. Yeah, that's exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes. I'd love to have you back.
Well, thank you for having me. I can't wait to hopefully come back and be like, hey, this is what happens when you put all into it,
Right. And then we can do, this is the before, and we can do the after, and we can,
Absolutely.
See how far you've come. So that's great.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jessie.
Well, thank
I appreciate
you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you. Okay. All done. That was great. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Please take a moment to like the episode and share it with others so they can learn about this topic as well. Have a great day.